top stories tonight are families left behind. One seeking answers in the sudden death of her husband and a stranger whom she says were both hit and killed by the same driver. The other, countless Southeast Texans impacted by the loss of more than 1,000 of our neighbors who've died from the coronavirus. That's where we start tonight, 1,004. Each victim, so much more than a number. The impact of their lives leave behind grieving families, friends, students, congregations, and communities.
He's a great guy. You know, he's what I call old school police officer. You know, what you see is what you get. He loves everybody he meets and never met a stranger.
He was more than just a father figure. You know, he was that guy. He was that man.
12 News reporter Amelia White has been taking a look back on this last year. She's speaking with some of the families left behind, and she joins us live tonight.
Dej, this pandemic has been marked by grief and loss, and as we reflect on those who've passed away, I sat down with Kevin Robinson. He lost his grandmother to the virus, and he said it changed him forever. As you can see, this is still fresh on Kevin's heart. He's encouraging people to continue to social distance and wear your mask because this pandemic is not over just yet. I'm live in Beaumont. Amelia White, 12 News.
Somber reminder there, Amelia, and there are some positive signs that the community has a hold on the virus. Says hospitalization numbers continue to decline. Some units that were exclusively used for COVID-19 patients are preparing to close. Both the Medical Center of Southeast Texas and Christus Southeast Texas St. Elizabeth are doing away with their designated COVID overflow units this week. And the Mid-Jefferson Extended Care Hospital will no longer be used as a backup COVID facility. Healthcare workers say it's a welcome relief.
We are very encouraged to be able to relieve some of the pressure in our hospital system and return some of our units back to their original use.
Emotionally, what a high, right? That before we were pretty much a COVID hospital.
12 News reached out to Baptist Hospital to see if they will take similar action. We expect to learn more about their plans soon. Well, big help in the fight against this virus are the vaccines. Texas is still lagging behind the rest of the nation with less than 18% of the population fully vaccinated. As our local hubs disband, county health departments are left on their own to request doses and manage their operations. Hardin County will be continuing their walk-up clinic at the Journey Community Church in Lumberton for the rest of the week. You can show up between 1 and 4 p.m. and you don't have to be registered in the vaccination portal. So by the numbers, you've been hearing the headline all day today. More than 1,000 Southeast Texans have passed away due to the coronavirus. This is a tough milestone for this tight-knit community. So here's how those numbers break down. Jefferson County has reported the most deaths with 403. Now Chambers County has the least, 25 deaths. But things are still getting better. There were 84 new COVID cases reported in the region on Wednesday, and most of those did come from Chambers County. But hospitals are where we are seeing the biggest gains. Jefferson County Judge Jeff Brannick says new COVID cases and hospitalizations are the lowest they've been since the end of last August, and the numbers back that up. A little more than 7% of patients in general beds have the coronavirus, and 17% in the ICU. Our region's hospitalization rate stands at 8.5%, and as you can see, all of those numbers are down from our last report. Going to go ahead and switch gears to track the threat of severe weather in Southeast Texas. This is a live look from our Roofing 911 Skycam overlooking the city of Orange. Now, throughout the night, we have a marginal to slight risk of severe weather. You see it there on the screen. Chief Meteorologist Patrick Vaughn joins us tonight from the Storm Tracker Center.
On June 13th, my husband was run over and hit like a dog, left to die in the middle of the road, one of the busiest roads in this town. Your chief of police, Paul Davis, back there, you asked him why I never got a visit. Not one visit after my husband was killed to tell me he had been killed.
So you can just feel the pain through her words. That's Mandy Jackson, and it's her plea at the Bridge City Council meeting last night. It's gone viral across Southeast Texas. It's not the first time she's publicly asked for more information in the hit-and-run death of her husband, Robert. She says a woman named Jillian Blanchard was hit and killed by the same driver. In August, the two families held a protest outside of the police department. And tonight, Mandy spoke exclusively with our Jordan James.
June marks 1 year since Robert Jackson was killed, and his widow says not a day goes by that she doesn't remind folks of the injustice that she says is happening. Chief Davis says evidence from the crime lab should be back by the end of the month. Then it'll get turned over to the district attorney office to move this case forward. Reporting here live in Bridge City, Jordan James, 12 News.
Governor Abbott is ordering a state-level investigation of a federal immigration center after he claimed unaccompanied minors have been sexually abused, neglected, aren't eating, and that there are not enough staff members to safely supervise the children. He says it happened at the Freeman Coliseum Expo Hall in San Antonio, where about 1,300 children are living temporarily.
In short, this facility is a health and safety nightmare. The Biden administration is now presiding over the abuse of children. To end this abuse, the Biden administration must immediately shut down this facility.
Governor Abbott says 2 separate state agencies received a tip from at least one anonymous caller this morning. The Bexar County Sheriff's Office confirmed they were called out to the Coliseum for allegations of a sexual offense and that the investigation is ongoing. The Department of Health and Human Services is also investigating. In case you missed it, this was the scene of a massive fire off I-10 East and Sheldon in Channelview earlier this evening. Fire crews have since put it out, and the shelter-in-place order for families in the area has been lifted. The facility is owned by K-Solve, a chemical distribution company. Officials say the fire started during a dump transfer operation, which is the transfer of one product into a smaller container. One employee was taken to the hospital out of an abundance of caution. Nike has suspended its sponsorship deal with Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson because of the growing lawsuits and allegations against him. In a statement, the company said, "We're deeply concerned by the disturbing allegations and have suspended Deshaun Watson. We will continue to closely monitor the situation." Well, it was a sad day in Texas as mourners gathered for the funeral of fallen trooper Chad Walker. The DPS trooper was fatally wounded in an ambush near Mahia on March 26th. Walker was kept on life support for a few days in order to be able to donate his organs. He leaves behind a wife and 4 children. Check your bank accounts. The IRS said Social Security, SSI, and Railroad retirement recipients should get their money today. Most likely direct deposit or on their Direct Express card. But stimulus payments for VA beneficiaries who don't regularly file tax returns could be delayed until mid-April. The agency says it is reviewing data and will provide more details soon. After the break, innovation, but at what cost? We head to South Texas, where the development of SpaceX could be pushing out neighbors. Also, we are back in court for the Derek Chauvin murder trial. The focus today, use of force, what was said on the stand. And awarding 2 Southeast Texas heroes how their actions saved the life of a baby during the winter storm.